Welcome in 29ers. Jay Smithini here from the chilly mothership here in Houston, Texas, awaiting the holiday season. It's actually a little chill in the air here. I have on my hoodie because it's a little cold outside. But Terry Cushman over in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina is baseball off season. It is basically cribbage off season for you. So the important question, the $1 million question, have you began watching Ted Lasso yet, as you promised? In this
I have not.
Oh, and I roll along with it too. Is that like a dread thing, or is that
I just really, I don't know. I just been kind of busy, and I just haven't
Okay.
really. I haven't watched anything, honestly.
All right, yeah. So your ultra super mega box, like Uber box, is not getting the workout that it normally would be, huh?
Not really. I literally watched my first NFL game of the season on Sunday. Patriots versus Bills, phenomenal
Oh,
game.
oh,
Bills were
yeah,
down 24-0, I think. Came back
something
and
like
won.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then I watched those 2 documentaries on, Thanksgiving Day with Sam. Both were pretty good, but
Okay. I don't know what
that's all I've
documentaries you're talking about, but
all
I don't know if that's for this broadcast, but maybe that's more for the off-air broadcast.
well, I just forget the names of them. One was it was a murder,
Oh, okay. They're like
documentary.
murder ones, not like your like tinfoil theory, like conspiracy theory ones. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, those
Not
are fine.
really.
Like, all right, those are good. Those are good.
Yeah, and
So,
yeah, so today at work, I doing what I do, hauling construction stuff and dumping them often in that section of the landfill. You're prone to running over nails and stuff. And I in almost 2 years I've had maybe 5 or 6 flat tires. Today I
yeah.
had 2 in the same day.
Ooh.
So yeah, and so on the second one, which was going to be a little while because I got there during their lunch breaks, so I had 30 minutes of just sitting before I even got dealt with. I decided to book my tickets for Phoenix.
Yeah,
And
major announcement for those listening.
yeah,
Yes, you will have, in fact, both members of the podcast showing up for this, the Roadrunner Classic, and I think the other one's called like the Cactus something or other. But yeah, so Terry Cushman official, but apparently you have some travel fun that you want to indulge upon us. Go right ahead.
well, no, it's just I screwed myself and didn't get the tickets out of Myrtle that were only $279 a week ago. So I'm flying
Yeah,
out
the
of
lazy tax, yes, the
yeah.
a-hole tax, I believe I've heard it called. Yes.
Now I have to fly out of Charleston, drive 90 minutes to get there, pay for parking, but it was 238 round trip. But the nice thing is the way back I have a nonstop flight, so I will take
Ooh,
that. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Phoenix to Charleston. Okay, that's not
Y-
too bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I was consulting with you. Should I do Houston? Should I do Dulles? And then I just decided I'm going to do Denver on the way out. That's where my connector will be. But I've got an hour and 50 minutes. So you may as well just not sweat it out. And um,
Yeah.
yeah, Denver
I like
airport's
the
kind of
Denver
fun anyway.
airport. Nice
Yeah.
enough. There's good little food court. Like I have access to like the the Centurion Lounge, which
Oh,
if you've never been in an airport, they're nice. Like it's a nice little spot where you can like sit down, get like a real meal, and it's all like complimentary or whatever it is. Like you can tip if you care to. And I want to say in the Denver one, they just have like a punch bowl, if you will, of just and they're the good ones. Albanese, I think, is the brand of gummy bears.
okay.
Like there's an unofficial like endorsement of the program, but yeah, they have this giant thing of just gummy bears for no reason in particular. But those are don't let the hacks at Haribo trick you. Like Albanese are the gummy bears that are the best ones, and I don't find it to be particularly close. Just let that be a future lesson for Terry.
Huh. That's interesting. We've discussed it before. I mean, if you want to go down the conspiracy theory rabbit holes, just go on Denver
Oh, the
airport
Denver
and
airport. Yeah, it's
YouTube. Yeah,
like a portal and all this other stuff I've heard, and tunnels and all these things. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
Like maybe
Wow.
there's aliens under there. I don't know. There's all kinds of cryptic stuff. So if you want to watch a, you know, thought-provoking YouTube video, just type in Denver airport conspiracy, and there's some
And then
crazy
you will
stuff.
end up on lists for the rest of your life and all these other things. Maybe you won't make it out of the Denver airport. By the way, also it's one of the airports that has like a robot barista. Have you ever heard or seen that? You I like you know what a robot is and you know what a barista is, right?
Yes.
All right,
Yes, absolutely.
that you need to know no more from that point. It's a little machine. It's like it almost looks like a claw machine or something. You put your thing in and it'll like make your beverage. So it's a neat
Mm.
little thing. So all right, well, cool. Well, yeah, I'm excited for that. In fact, tonight I'm going to book our like we're going to do a group house. Like you get to be an honorary Houstoner, his Houstonian, I think is the technical term for the weekend. So we'll teach you like the deep in the heart of Texas songs and all those other things. Like we'll get you going there, but get to hang
Do
with
I
the
need to
Houston
buy a
crew there.
cowboy hat or anything or no?
God, I want to buy one. I want to see. I'm just curious what you would look like in a cowboy hat and boots as someone who has never worn either of the two. I mean, I live in like for those that don't know, like Houston. I live in Houston, right? It's the fourth largest city in the U.S. and it is statistically the most multicultural city in the United States. So like when people are like, "Oh yeah, do you ride a horse to work or what?" No, this is a like a giant city. So like, be like saying that in like Chicago or something. But no, I have never gotten into the Western wear like myself. I've never even been to like the rodeo here, which apparently is a big rite of passage. But yeah, if you want to break out the boots and the hat, I am all here for the photos for it. It's just that's like worth it in itself. I'll give
Uh,
a real quick side story before we get back to actual like cribbage stuff, which I promise we'll do shortly here. When I first moved to Houston, um, it was near like holiday time like it is now, and I was needing to buy a gift for a goofy white elephant thing because that was kind of the rage at that era, right? White elephants were really, really popular, especially like gag gift white elephant exchanges. Like I'm sure you've done them of some kind, right? Or you're at least aware of like white elephants and what they are, right?
well, no, just like gag gifts like around Christmas time, but
So white elephant is a thing where like there's a big pot, everybody brings a gift and you take turns opening it. And you can either steal a gift or open another one. And so
okay.
it's a very common, popular thing that a lot of I don't know, like workplaces or other things will do like gift. So you bring in like a gift of X amount of dollars, right? And there's it just makes for a fun little social thing to do. Well, anyway, but like my thought was I want to go buy a belt buckle for this like white elephant because it was with like my in-laws at the time or whatever it is who were up in like Pennsylvania, get them like a belt buckle. I live in Texas now. Yeehaw. And I went into one of these like stores, one of these like Western stores, and I had no idea how seriously they take these things because it's like the second I walked into the store, I realized, oh no, this is they are not interested in my tomfoolery. Like I walk into this store and it's in like a strip mall, like in the city, right? This is not like in the country or whatever it is. Walk into this, and first of all, like the belt buckles are like blinged out like you would never believe. Like the cheapest thing in there was like $600-700. I'm wanting to buy some like $20 gag gift thing. And in the store, I'm not exaggerating here, like 125-pound like dog just laying on the ground in the store.
Mhm.
Like, and as soon as I walked in this place and this, guy with like the big Sam Elliott voice, just like, howdy, how can I help you there? And I was just like, this is not where I should be.
Yeah.
So
A little
anyway,
too authentic.
yeah, it was like, no, this is, like, I don't want to mock your culture, sir. I just want to make a hasty exit and like pretend. So, okay. Well, anyway, but that is coming up. This is the competitive cribbage podcast. I promise we actually talk about cribbage at some point. And what is it? We've got details that we are ironing out literally like after we record today about the competitive cribbage long match that we're going to be starting hopefully shortly after the new year. Got a few official entries that have been trickling into the mailbag. I think we'll pop that on the socials shortly and hopefully those will start filling up. I got via text message a big name last night who is interested in joining it.
Okay.
Yeah. I got pretty sure you can guess whom this might be. Probably the top cribbage player in the world.
I was gonna say Gurdon, yeah.
Nope, not Gurdon.
Oh.
Not
Oh,
nope, no.
Locke.
Yeah, Eric Locke.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
No, I think I have Gurdon's number, but like he and I are not on super texting. Like I'm not. I get no beef with Gurdon or anything like that. In fact, if there's anybody in the ACC I don't really think I want to have a beef with, it's probably Gurdon. Like
Yeah.
he's a big dude, and is not afraid to mince words. If like are probably wrong, but no, I think I'm on pretty good terms with hopefully everybody in the entire organization. Like I am almost beefless right now from everybody in the ACC. Like maybe that feeling isn't mutual. Maybe there are a couple of people that hate my guts, but like I think I had like one person I didn't care for, and I ended up having a match with this person and kind of I feel like we got to a good point and like shook the person's hand and like that we were I felt like all right, I got some respect for this person now. So no,
Alright.
I'm like beefless. I know that is not the case for you. You
I've
are
got 3 people I'll never speak with ever again. So,
okay. All
it's
right.
and I've had to play 2 of them, and it's cordial and I'm good, and I don't even,
As long as you can do that, I think
yeah.
that's fine, right? If you can shuffle the cards, do the things, and like not stir things up. Like if you don't pull the Kushma maneuver just to like screw with the person or something like that, or like do whatever. Like I did have one thing once where like somebody insisted on like shuffling before the cut. So it's like they shuffled and then I shuffled once and then they went and shuffled again. Like they got, they were clearly trying to screw with me. But no, I'm generally beefless. Like I don't know. It's feel free cribbagepodcast@gmail.com if you're like, no, Jason, you're wrong. Like this, I hate you, or you actually hate this person. I'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that Cushman guy, he's terrible. I hate him. But okay. Before we get to the draft, I guess we will get to the draft here because what is it? We've got a few hands to get into, a couple things in the mailbox too that I want to hit on. We're going to do now. I am a Scrooge. Let me make this clear. I am not a holiday person. Just don't care for the holiday season. I think it has to do with like a variety of things, like just I don't like the pressure of gift buying and the this like it's almost like you get to the point now where if you're walking around and if somebody says some sort of holiday greeting to you, like especially if they say like Merry Christmas, they'll like say Merry Christmas and then like stare at you, waiting to see what you will say back. Um, but no, I just never been like a holiday person, like period. Just didn't care for it. You big Christmas or holiday or
Growing up, I liked it, but once my grandparents passed away, it kind of wasn't the same. The gatherings were smaller, and
Mhm.
people weren't quite as committed anymore. And now that we're obviously down south, kind of away from everyone, it's just one of those things I'm kind of indifferent to. But the only thing I hated was I worked in retail, throughout my teens into my early 20s, and the constant Christmas music. That's the only thing I hate.
Oh yeah, and for the record, I'll spoil it. I think next week, I think we're gonna do like something to do with like holiday music, Christmas music, and my lean is I think we're gonna do like like music that you hate during the holidays, right? Like a specific Christmas carol or whatever it is. I think that's my lean for what I want to do for the fantasy draft next week. But this week, we're gonna do Christmas movies, and as always, we're gonna be kind of open with what we're considering Christmas movies. As I was perusing lists earlier today, like my main Google search for like offbeat Christmas movies and things like that. Because I don't know, there's just stuff that I like tends to not be the overly sappy like Hallmark movie level like Christmas stuff. But I don't want to give away my entire draft strategy here. I think there's only one on my list. It's like a have to have. The rest I'm kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, these are okay. But I don't know. As I was scribbling them down earlier today, I have like 10 ready to go here, because I feel like we probably have a decent amount of overlap on this one. I feel like that makes for the better draft, right? When we have like an overlap one, like when we did the video game one, we were both like sniping each other left and right.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I have 2 that I love, and then after that, I don't it drops off quick. So,
It's funny, the ones that have become, like, tradition for me to watch aren't even, like, in remotely consideration of, like they aren't on my list because they're not the least bit Christmas. Like, I think, Sarah and her mom and I will usually watch The Shawshank Redemption, which is the least
Oh,
holiday of holiday movies that there ever was,
yeah.
but yeah, tradition, tradition. Okay, alright, I'm gonna flip this, would you like to call it here, Terry?
Heads.
All right, we're gonna flip that, and it is a tail.
Okay.
Get the very important tail here for the turn it right side up here for those who are watching the YouTube version versus the audio only version. If you listen to the audio only version, you got to take my word for it, I guess. But that's way to go about that. Yeah, I'm just gonna take the first pick because I feel like there's one that I would be ticked off if I didn't get.
Okay.
And to me, it's like as close as a movie can get me to like the holiday mood, and that's Home Alone. Like to me, Home Alone is a fantastic holiday movie. It's funny, it's goofy, it's not to be taken too seriously. There's so many plot holes in it. It's also like maybe the one movie I think I could say that is has like I feel like there is no actual like silly message in that movie. It's just goofy burglars getting beat up by a little kid. That's right. Like just it's also maybe the closest thing to like your traditional holiday movie that is on my list. So I feel like if I have all weirdo stuff on mine, then maybe people might start thinking weird things about me. So I'm taking Home Alone.
Okay. Fun fact about that, there's a Netflix special, I forget what it's called, but it's like how it was made or something. And they built most of the set on Home Alone in a high school gymnasium. And
Okay.
they built kind of the interior of the house in there. So all of the house, like the big brick house that nobody knows how Kevin's dad could ever afford. Nothing was shot in that house.
Oh.
So it's fascinating, and it was a very low budget thing. The movie almost didn't happen. It got passed from one director to another. It's got a crazy behind the scenes history. But yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna do it, and this literally is my favorite movie, and I spoke about it before the podcast. It's actually Home Alone 2. I think is the better of the two, and I get into these intense debates with people over it, but I think why I like Home Alone 2 more is because there was like a sense of adventure to it, that the first one didn't really have. It all kind of took place in the house, and there were some scenes where the family, was away. And I think the best scene from either movie was the John Candy scene in the first one. I probably should have mentioned that. He ad-libbed that the whole thing.
Hmm.
And so that was my favorite. But anyway, Home Alone 2 had just a greater sense of adventure. And I think I was like 9 years old when that one came out. And I obviously knew New York City was the biggest city in the United States, but I'd never really seen any movies on it or anything. So the scenes in Central Park and as he's going through the skyscrapers and staying at the Plaza Hotel, those were all kind of new things. So I don't know why I just like that one better.
Okay. I, I
So
I I mean, put it this way: very rarely on this show do we judge for like opinions, right? You're allowed to have opinions, and that's especially on like I mean, if we're gonna take Home Alone stuff, we're not going to be breaking these down deeply, right? We'll break down Cribbage Hands super deep. We're just coming up, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Home Alone 2 is it's the same movie. Let's be honest. Although it around the middle of the second one is when like my suspension of disbelief starts falling. Like I've watched them back to back before during like Christmas time. And it's like after the second one, it's like, all right, come on. At some point, don't like guns or like police or something become involved in this. Like,
yeah.
and I know it's like kids movie. You're not supposed to have like these, horrible, awful things, but it was but yeah, Home Alone 2 's fine. It's the same movie and they're both hilarious.
I think it's a strong sequel, though. There's the cliche, the sequel is never as good. And that's true. I
Mhm.
think like 95 or greater percent of the time. But I really thought they did a good job with that one. But all right. The second one, which is the other one I had to have, thank goodness you didn't take it because I thought you might, was Elf with
Oh,
uh,
okay.
with Will Ferrell.
I was
There's
gonna take Elf at some point, but it was more because my partner Sarah loves Elf.
okay.
And so I feel like I wouldn't get in trouble or anything, but like it's almost like a what is it, compersion or whatever it is, like when you enjoy what, making somebody else happy, right? And like turning on Elf and watching her have pure joy from it and like quote it and all those things. Cause it's a very quotable movie, right? It's
It
cute,
is,
it's
yeah.
funny. Like makes me really happy. But there are some things, yeah. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. Like it's great. It's great. Elf's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay. By the way, James Caan in that movie is fantastic. Like
He
I
is.
love there are certain movies when like people just play it like dead straight down the line makes me very, very happy. And like the ones in those are really, really good.
And it was an
Um
out of nowhere role. I mean, why would he be in that movie?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was not really
Yeah.
his, like, type at that point, which is kind of the point, kinda establishing the shock value, but it was good. He did a good job in that one. And a nice little happy, fun, like, Christmas message in that one about Christmas joy and all that, like, junk that I hate. But anyway, okay. Alright, I have tougher decisions than I thought on these. Alright, I'm gonna take another one that I need to have, and I'm gonna take Muppet Christmas Carol,
Okay.
and that is about as whimsical as I possibly get. Are you a Muppets guy? I'm a Muppets guy. I really like the Muppets. I think they're funny.
No, I mean, I don't love him or hate him. It's just more of an indifference thing, I would say. But
Okay. I think the Muppets are funny, and it's as close as I get. I hate musicals, and I think most of the Muppets movies are kind of musicals, but they're kind of not. I don't know, but there's something goofy and funny about any of the Muppets stuff, and maybe it's just like an age thing. Like they were very, very popular when I was young. It shows like, we're somewhat close in age, but it shows the slight difference of like the age difference between you and I. Right, just like I'm just a little bit older than you, and I think by the time you were kinda coming of, like, those ages, like, the Muppets were maybe just not quite as popular, but I don't know, I just find those, like, enjoyable. There are adult jokes in all of these Muppets movies, right? There are adult themes in them, and I feel like it's something where it's like you can enjoy it as a kid, have a little wacky, like, animals bouncing around doing things, but also right, it's, the classic story of Scrooge and all that stuff. Like, just hilarious, a lot of really, really sneaky little jokes that just come out of nowhere on it, and it's subtle and funny, just makes me happy, so I'll take Muppet Christmas Carol, and gosh, I have so many, like, tough choices on this one. Alright, I'm just gonna do it on this one, like, for those, like, with children, that are around during this is probably not a Christmas movie for you, but, I like Bad Santa, and it is not a movie that a lot of people like, but it is one of those movies where it kinda catches up. I don't like gross out movies, and there are certainly some things in there that are kinda with that, but it's one of those movies, like, it was seen have you ever seen Bad Santa? Do you know the plot? Do you know of it at all?
I just know Billy Bob Thornton's in it, and I think it would be a movie I like. I just haven't gotten to it.
So it is Billy Bob Thornton, and he's essentially like a thief and running around planning to like rob a mall. And he builds like this, I don't know, this kind of like relationship with this family, and in particular, this like goofy little boy. And the whole time he's like drinking and cursing and just being kind of a jerk. And like by the end of it, you can tell, and it's believable, like the relationship between he and this child and wanting to like actually do something decent, and it's like he develops like a heart, and it is still in its own screwed up horrible way with like kind of gross out stuff in it, but yeah, something about that movie just makes me happy. Like that's one of those I can watch. It's again not for, like I wouldn't recommend this for your little ones, but yeah, I like Bad Santa. So all right, your last two here.
Uh, I was trying to pivot, but I don't know if it's applicable, so I'm just gonna stay off it. I'm just gonna go with The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey version.
Really? Okay. That's interesting. The Jim Carrey one versus like the classic, like I don't know who's, but the cartoon one from like the 70s or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just kind of a Jim Carrey guy, and
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. Just I like I said, it falls off fast after the second one. So,
They
and
made more than one or this or that, or I don't know. I think I saw the first one, but they made multiple Grinch movies with Jim Carrey.
no, no, I just mean after my second pick, it
Oh, after
like
your picks. Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay. Yep. All
yeah.
right.
And then my last one, I'm taking a huge liberty on this one because I don't think it does really qualify as a Christmas movie, but I think it's played a lot during like November, December, and there is a Christmas scene in it. And I'm gonna go with Rudy, the football movie.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't of all the things that I had on my list that I wouldn't count as like traditional Christmas movies, that is not one that really like came across my radar. Sell me on this being a Christmas movie in your mind.
Well, it's a movie kind of about family, and um he leaves his father's, I think it's like a coal mill that all of his family kind of work in, and he's the one that kind of breaks out of the family mold to try to get into Notre Dame. And I don't know, I can't remember if there's a Thanksgiving scene in it, but there's definitely a Christmas scene in it, and it's just this time of year is when I always want to watch it.
Okay.
So
Now,
that's the pitch.
okay. All right. What you decide is a Christmas movie is a Christmas movie. Now I will warn you, like in fact I saw a video on it not that long ago. Would you like me to ruin this movie for you? Like if anybody's a big Rudy fan, like I recommend maybe pause on this thing or skipping forward about a minute or this or that.
I think something came out in the last handful of years that he's not a good guy. Am I on the right track?
Yeah, well, maybe not quite that far, but like the movie is like total Hollywood. So this, believe it or not, like do you know who the quarterback was of that Notre Dame team like that
No.
year? A guy by the name of Joe Montana.
Oh, I did
And
not know
their
that.
and their interviews with Joe Montana, and he was basically saying everybody on the team like hated him, and he wasn't like this like scrub guy. And apparently, when they carried him off the field, it was in jest.
Huh.
Like, and there's other like things like with that. Like he was not, Holly. Of course, Hollywood movie taking a lot of liberties and things like that. But yeah, I'd encourage anybody to go like look up some of those like Joe Montana things and the more of the truth on that one. Like I said, it's for an inspiring movie, but to call it like this like true story and this and that is probably stretching things a little far. So
For years and years, though, he was the only one ever carried off the field. That's why it's surprising, I guess. But
yeah. So all right. All right. I've got a few things on mine. I feel like calling Die Hard a Christmas movie is so cliche nowadays. And I don't know. It's like
yeah,
the old like is a hot dog a sandwich thing. And again, if somebody thinks it's a Christmas movie, it's a Christmas movie. But of the ones on my list that I would say are not traditional Christmas movies, you know what? I'm gonna take Gremlins actually as my last one. If you're gonna go along those lines of like what is a Christmas movie or isn't, like I think Gremlins was a little more significant to me. Like I watched it a little more and this and that. I'm like Die Hard's fine and it's actually a good movie. By the way, I also saw Lethal Weapon on the list
I
of
looked
like
at that.
these when I
Yeah.
was looking at these, and I thought about that one too. And to me, like I almost find Lethal Weapon more enjoyable than Die Hard because it's so like cliched nowadays. Like it has all the action movie like stuffs in it. But I think I'm taking Gremlins. It's got more of an actual like Christmas like theme thing going on. Like it's a gift thing. And I don't know, like Gremlins scared the Jesus out of me as a kid. Like, don't feed them after midnight, all those other things. Just a more significant movie, like in my mind. So all right. So, what else did I have on my list? The Holdovers. There's a movie you might give a look at some point. It's kind of a newer movie with Paul Giamatti in it. I think he won like Best Actor in it, but he's basically like this curmudgeonly professor up in like the Northeast and like gets stuck at this like prep school for the holidays. It's kind of worth seeing. What else did I have on there? I already mentioned those. The Holiday is another one that I feel like is kind of cute. That is like an actual like Christmas movie. It's like, who is it? Like Kate Winslet's in it, Jack Black is in it, and some other people. Cute little holiday like romantic comedy kind of movie.
It's an interesting cast. Yeah.
Yeah. It was as he was kind of becoming more popular. I think Cameron Diaz and Jude Law, I think, is the last. It's like basically couples who kind of like change their swap locations to try to like get away during the holidays because they've had rough times and they end up like enjoying this like experience. And it's been a long time since I've seen it, but super adorable. What else? Go, they were saying, is a Christmas movie, which is one of those that when I saw it, I did not realize it kind of took place over the holidays, but it does. It's like a Christmas Eve movie. So,
All right.
anything else on your list in case I sniped like Home Alone, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 from you? Or I think
No,
they making like 4 Home Alones.
At least, and they drop off bad after the second one. But I thought about taking A Christmas Story, but I thought that would have been the most generic.
It's so cliched. Like so many,
Yeah.
they made such a big deal about it that it made me like dislike it. And it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
But the people that like go crazy for it, it's just not my cup of tea.
Another one, I've seen it like twice and not recently. It might be at least 10 years. As The Family Stone. It has Sarah Jessica Parker in it. I forget Owen Wilson's brother's name, but he plays a big role in it. And it's kind of a chick flick type movie.
Luke Wilson,
I just couldn't
believe.
remember it enough to describe Luke Wilson. Yeah. And I don't know. So if you see that on your apps or whatever in your board, it's a good movie, I would say.
Okay.
I saw it at the theaters. That was one of the 2 times I saw it. And that was in 05 because I remember the girlfriend I saw it with. So it goes back.
It's funny the things that like connect you with those things. Yeah.
I also saw Walk the Line with her. That was like one of the better movies ever because they actually sing in it. Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon. So, but that's not a Christmas movie. So,
okay. Yeah. Were you like a go see a movie on Christmas Day kind of person for a little while?
I saw Home Alone on Christmas Day, but I don't think, and I think Thanksgiving night was actually the time we would go if it was during a holiday as well. And maybe that's when I saw Home Alone. Now that I think about it, but no, not typically.
Okay.
We I had a really big family growing up, so it was just we were always so busy with them.
Okay. So all right, that's fine. I've seen a couple of movies on Christmas Day. Never really been like a thing for me. Like it's not something I specifically do. I do kind of enjoy the tradition that I do now with which is kind of become like, so it's my partner Sarah and her mom is usually and we will do on Christmas Day do a giant charcuterie board. So we'll just like take the island in the kitchen and it's just for 3 people. There's far too much food on there, but it's all the meats and cheeses and yes, there are some olives. Not trying to like tilt you with this, but like fruits and jams and all those things. And the idea is you graze on it like all day long. We don't really do like a meal that day, so it's just when you want to have a little bite, you just go make yourself a little plate with that. So usually I'll make like a cheese ball, which is you would think is kind of corny or whatever it is, but like cheese balls are low key real good when they're made right. It's one of those like foods from like the 80s that most people have really bad versions of it and you're like terrible. But when it's made like at home and well, it's super good. It's a big fan. All right, let's hit the mailbag here. A little carryover from the sports broadcasters draft that we did a couple of weeks ago, and just I fell a little behind on the bag. Ezra Kazi, I think I said his name right again, reached out and mentioned Bob Uecker. Said it was surprising there's no Bob Uecker, the legendary voice of the Brewers. Also mentioned Jack Buck will always hold a special place in his heart fans after Game 6 of the 91 World Series. But he says his announcer is Paul Allen, who does the radio play-by-play for the Vikings, as well as some races at Canterbury Towns. Paul Allen is a great shout because if you ever like, I know you're not a big football guy, Terry, but there are super cuts of this guy who's the play-by-play guy. Normally, right? It's play-by-play guy who's very like down the line, and the color commentary who kind of gives like the opinions and can do this. Like Paul Allen will just shred things as it's going along. He'll be like, okay, here's the punt. And oh God, it's a terrible punt because their punter stinks. He shouldn't even be on the field. And he's funny. Like he's got actual personality. There's a few things where like the Vikings are one of those teams that have had like kind of a cursed existence. And there's a few clips of
Yeah.
him where it's just screaming like no, and it's very very funny. So I think that's a good shout on those. Euchre and Jack Bucker, you're more baseball than I am. Like those are pretty legendary guys, like known, like for being very very good.
Yeah, I'm not super. I mean, I've seen some highlights of Jack Buck, but I wasn't watching a lot of baseball back then. And Bob Euchre's really good. I kind of saw him like Miller Park was one of well, it's now one of 4 stadiums that I've been to, and he was seated like right above me was his booth. So you
Mhm.
could kind of be like, oh, cool, that's Bob Euchre. He was probably mid 80s by that time. But yeah, he was really good.
I mentioned this when we did this before, but I tend to downgrade the guys that like do it forever. I just don't like the ones that just do it till they are old and decrepit, and like give the younger guys a chance, like chill out a little bit. Let's see. Here's another email. Just subject line under 40 from Jimmy Fincher says, for the record, I'm not 40 for another 22 gays, with a bunch of crying, laughing emojis, which that was sent on the 9th. So that would make Jamie a New Year's Eve baby. So, all right. Well, happy early 40th birthday, Jamie, who I know like has been your like driving buddy a couple of times. But
Yeah. Yeah, we went up to Massachusetts and back, and um we drove Herb, me, and Jim Crawford drove to Topaz after Reno and back. But yeah. I always tell Jamie though, like, I'd be so annoyed if my birthday was December 31st. Why couldn't it just wait just a handful more hours and just be on the first? That way, because like when you look at the year, so she'll be 40 all the way through next year until the final day. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
mhm.
yeah, you're turning 40, but not until the 365th day.
So my sister is also a New Year's Eve baby, right? December
Oh,
31st. And she was born, and I don't feel bad snitching on my older sister's age, who will never ever listen to this podcast in her whole life. And maybe I'll eat those words. But she was born December 31st, 1978. And so she turned 21 on December 31st, 1999. What a good night to have as like your first night like out,
so
right?
for that
Legal
aspect,
drinking age.
it's pretty good, I suppose. Yeah.
My dad also called her his little tax deduction. So I guess whenever a baby is born, like you get the child tax credit. It counts for the whole year, no matter how long.
Oh,
So it's bully for I guess Jamie's family on that one. But yeah, Jamie's cool. I like Jamie a lot. So, but yes, happy early birthday, Jamie. Uh, I see her in Fort Walton Beach in about a month from now. So I'm excited for that one. I'm curious what kind of turnout they get on that one. Let me see. Daryl Desjardins reached out. Can I say his pronunciation like the hockey player? I think I screwed that one up. I think it's Desjardins.
I think
But
that's how it is. Yeah.
he says he just got back from a 15-day transatlantic cruise and was catching up. And being a true 29er is listening to any missed competitive cribbage broadcast. Damn right, Daryl, who was the one who coined 29er. So, like, he gets kind of OG status for me. He said he would be remiss if he didn't mention one of Florida's golden voices of football, Gene Deckeroff, the longtime play-by-play announcer for both the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Florida State Seminoles. Gene's iconic voice is legendary. He's famous for his passionate and enthusiastic play-by-play commentary, making listeners feel like they're part of the game. He said a couple of links. He still does Bucks games, but I guess he's retired from FSU. So I agree. He's a legend. Apparently, super nice guy, by the way. In my dealings with him, I dealt with him a little bit from like my radio days, and was like a lot of the broadcasters were just jerks. But he was not one of them. But there's two things about him that I don't care for. One is the age thing, right? Just these guys that'll just do it forever. But the other is he is like a homer of homer broadcasters. And I just don't love this era of that. Like, I like the guys that kind of call it down the middle, even if you're doing like the play by play, like for a certain team. But like, he makes no bones about how much of a homer he is for like the teams that he is doing. Like, but yeah, it's again very legendary guy and seems like an actually decent humans. But and if you're an FSU fan, yeah, you're gonna love him. If you root for some other team, you probably will not. Let me see. Kevin Anderson checks in, kind of new emailer. Hey guys, good episode this week. First off, it's good to hear Jimmy McCarty get the level of respect you both did this last week. You don't have to be around Jimmy very long to realize he's very deserving of the recognition. And that's referring to our under 40 list, which hopefully I didn't blow any ages of anybody on there.
I think we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get any things off that. It says another name I know, Terry, the podcast message previously. Sarah Sandy is off to a blistering start to the grassroots season in Club 215, where Adam and I play as well. I assume he means Adam Switzer. Thanks again, Kevin. It says, P.S. Not an exaggeration, but I know it's tough to believe you've gone through that many hands already. And he lists his percentage of agree and disagree with us. He agrees with me. He says, Jason, 116 and 103. 52.9%, Terry 10109, 45.7%. So
the math checks.
Although I think those are slightly off because mine adds up to 219 and yours adds up to 209. So I think you got a number quite just a smidge there wrong, Kevin. We expect a correction by the next episode. Thank you for the email. And let me see. And oh yes, more announcements for the podcast or for the long match. Ryan Huffman officially in for the long match. And Ryan, of course, right recently took down his, I think, first tournament. So that adds to the list of at least what I have officially via email. Mega player Robert Milk, Mike Delana, Andy Wagner and Ryan along with us. And yeah, I got unofficially via text, Eric Locke says he will be joining. And I think that's all the ones that I have for that, but that's the mailbag for this week. And so we will pivot to our hands. And I pre-planned like these things. Hopefully I have it right.
Ryan Huffman kicked my ass a couple days ago. I think he beat me 3 straight.
In like an actual playoffs?
No, on Cribbage Pro.
Oh, on Cribbage Pro. All right. I have to fix this really quick here because apparently I have this wrong. So we're going to talk through this as we do it. Nope, that does not work at all. There we go. I thought I had this right, but apparently not.
Oh, David Butts listens to the podcast, huh?
He actually texted this one to me, so I can't guarantee he is listening. But okay. David Butte, one of the more underrated players, in my opinion, in the ACC. I think both of us would agree he is. He's pretty tough.
I lost one of my 4 finals to him.
Oh, okay. Remind me, who are the Almighty 4 who have defeated you?
One guy, his name is I forget. It might be Wendell Holbrook or something. I could look it up. So he beat me. David beat me next in a Grand National Consolation Final. So that one hurt. That would have been a good one to win. Jan Blank and then Jason Hoffbauer.
Okay, that's pretty like distinguished list. Yeah, I've taken a bad beat from David Butte, although it was not in a final. I think it was in a semifinal, and I was up 2-0, and he roared back and got me. I remember on the other side of the bracket in the Final Four was Eric Locke, and I was so badly, especially as I was 2-0 up. I'm like, man, I want to win this one so bad. I want to play Eric in the final. Like, I feel like I've got this final in the bag, and then he roared back and got me. It's like, jerk. Anyway, okay, let me give you the hand here. I like David Butte a lot, by the way. Okay, so you are first count in hole 110. Your opponent is dealing in hole 101. He said he didn't have the exact spot on this, but he said around 20. And here's the hand. It's 2, 8, 10, Jack, Queen, King. So he, like I said, I've had the luxury of like discussing this one via text already with him. But I'm curious if you have like a specific like feel on this, a way you like this. What do you think of this spot?
Yeah, I have a feeling you'll disagree with this, but I would throw deuce 10 to the crib, lead the 8, and hope to pair something. And obviously, I'm hoping for a jack, queen, king, or a nickel to hopefully get me out. But yeah, a lot of people might hold 10 jack, queen, king. You're not guaranteed to peg one, but chances are you will. And maybe that's your easiest path to going out odds wise. But you could also get destroyed pegging by holding it that way as well. So if they're in the 101 hole, I'm just not real comfortable with it. So 8 jack, queen, king for me with the 8 lead.
Goodness. You surprised me again, Terry. I thought there were 2 ways to hold this one, and, what you've selected is not one of them. Remember we joked on the last episode where there was like a mild disagree, a medium disagree, and then like a 3 hot pepper disagree here?
This one's ghost pepper.
Yeah, it's like this is like a no, this is like a 2-star disagree.
Oh, okay.
So I'm very I could be swayed. I think there are 2 ways to do this. I think you either have to hold the 4th, run of 4 face cards, or I think the other way to do it, and this is where I kind of landed on, is throwing king 8 and holding 2 10 jack queen. Um, and to me, it's all about just right. I am like bringing the 3 into play here, the 3 cut into play. That you feel pretty good if the 3 cuts, and that you feel like you're going to get out. Right, you only need 11 holes in this spot. I just like I think I calculated it and it was 17 cuts that get you to 8 or more. So, right, the 3, the 5, the 10, the jack, the queen that way. And if you hold the 4 faces, it's only 16 cuts. Although, and this is where I feel like I could be swayed is the 16 cuts in that spot, right? If you hold the 4 faces or, the 10, jack, queen, king, I'll get you to 10 or more. So just my thoughts on that one. Yeah, like King Deuce did not really come into my brain on that one at all.
No, 10 deuce. I think you have to throw the 10 to keep some separation there from the 8.
Wow.
But,
Okay.
but I just feel like if they have a jack, queen, or king in their hand, they automatically have to play it on the 8. So I'm gonna probably get 2 points there.
Well,
And
I mean, if they let me just argue with you a little bit on it, right? If you're playing a quality player, it's plausible they dump a 5 on your 8, right? Like like
yeah,
not to mention if they hold a hand, say they're holding like 2, 3, 4 king, right? A lot of times you'll see them, you lead the 8, they're just going to play the 3 on it in that spot. It kind of depends on what the cut is and what they're showing versus your potential when you have an 8 lead and things like that. I get kind of where you're going with that, but I just think that I think the 2 lead kind of accomplishes most of the same things you're trying to accomplish with the 8.
yeah, I think they would play a middle on it. Uh, A lot of players might, but
Okay.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
we don't have to
Uh,
grant everything.
yeah,
So
right.
again, like it
Yeah.
makes the show more interesting. So I didn't even get to the like again, like we'll have to verify the hardcore numbers later. But what was your unofficial count of our agree versus disagree going into this? Did you have that one on hand?
Yeah, so it was 28 to 23 coming into it.
28 agree, 23 disagree is what you're
Correct.
saying. Yeah. All
Correct.
right. Well, mark this one down for all right, 28, 24 now. All right. So, all
Yep.
right. So here's another one. This is more of an end game puzzle than truly like a hold situation, but I did think it was worthy. So this came via Ted Panos. And so you are first count in hole 116. Your opponent is dealing in hole 119. And the hand is ace 3 7 8 8 king. So right, number one goal here is to count your hand. I would say if I were 4 out, I feel like maybe you try to make a play towards trying to peg it out, but at least I would think I'm trying to count my hand. But how to go about doing that, this is a tough one, right? Most of the time in this kind of spot you are going to lose this game. So do you have a way you like to do situations like this, Terry? And if you pick up a hand like this, how are you going to go about it?
Yeah, I almost had it backwards, so I'm glad we took an extra half a second here. I think in this case, this the way I'm gonna do it isn't how I would typically do it. I'll say that, but I would probably hold 3, 7, 8, 8 here, and throw Ace King, and I would probably lead the 8 just because I have some of those outs in there. And I don't like leading the ace because I feel like it's trappable. It's also pairable. I think the 3 is a little less likely to get me in trouble late in a count anyway. So just from a percentage play here, I would lead the 8 from my
Okay.
3, 7, 8, 8.
Okay. I'm not opposed to that. Although the way I'm doing this one differently is I'm holding, I think we both agree, right? In this particular spot, you are 5 out, your opponent is dealing at 2 out. I think, at least for me, and I kind of referenced it earlier, I assume you agree, right? The plan is to try to count your hand, right? Like pegging 5 as non-dealer is, especially with this hand, is that's the fool's errand. That's a, instead of a 1 in, I don't know, 50 or 60 that you can steal this one. If you try to do it that way, it's 1 in 1,000 or so. Um, but like the route I'm planning on here is 7, 8, 8 king, with the thought being that my only way to win here is I need my opponent to waste 2 cards, right? And at least the route that I have in my mind for that to potentially happen is I lead my 8. I think I agree with you. I think I lead the 8 for them to play some sort of like a middle card, right? Say like a 4 or a 3 or something like that. For me to then play like another one of my middle cards, probably like the 7, right? Say they play a 3, I play the right, play the 7, make it 18, and hopefully they play 2 cards there, play like a king and an ace or something like that, right? They only get the one go. I can stay off the pegs to the next one, and hopefully count my hand here. So that's at least my game plan for it. I'm open to being someone explaining to me in this spot why I'm wrong, but that's how I like to do situations like these.
I like that play. That's
Yeah.
that's a good plan.
Yeah, I like the king in my hand a little bit more than I do the 3, just because I feel like it's going to lead to more situations like those. I have to have my opponent waste 2 cards here, or I would have to. I guess it could be that I would have to play like 2 cards and they only get 1 go. But like with this one, there's just not really a combo where I think that one really works. Just at least the way that I'm seeing it. Okay. All right, so that's like a 1 chili pepper disagree, right? Or like that's like a mild disagree. That's like the mild of mildest to disagree. It's like the I don't know, it's like the least spicy thing that's still, it's like a pepperoncini or something like that. Like it's not a very spicy one there. All right, this one came via the mailbag from Rich Cosby. So you are first count in hole 50. Your opponent is dealing in hole 35. And you are dealt a hand of 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. This is pretty common, like hand, right? Like this is like one of these you see, I feel like, often on Cribbage Hand of the Day, which for those who don't know, dailycribbagehand.org is that one. I've kind of fallen out of the habit of checking that one, but that's a really, really good resource where some very, very sharp players will explain their logic on hands. But this is one I feel like I've seen a lot. I feel like I see it more as maybe your own crib than I do as non-dealer, but I have a specific way I like to hold this one. I'm willing to bet if I were to wager dollars, I think we're going to agree on this one. But you clearly can surprise me many times, Mr. Cushman.
Sounds like we're both throwing 3, 4 here.
Yeah, I think so. Right, hold the most points. Just move
Yeah.
on. This is not a spot where you could make an argument, right, in a position like this that you kind of want to lead towards a little bit of defense, but I just don't see a hold that is adequately defensive for me here in order to break a hand. Like maybe you can make an argument for 6-2. I would hear somebody's argument for that because right, your opponent is 8 to 10 points out of position, right? They should be dealing at 43 to 45. It's pretty unlikely you're going to get to hold 69, but I just can't break up 3 points to throw something in like 3, 4. I don't know. Like I'll just live with the times when that turns into an ugly crib on me.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw 6, 7, but I think you're far more likely to give up a bigger crib that way. The other thing I considered for like a brief millisecond was deuce 4, but I'm just going to keep the most points, really. And, if they have a big crib, you still got half the game to try to maneuver if you need to.
Well, and keep this in mind, right? Like it's also even if they do have the quote unquote big crib, let's say they have a 12 crib on this, right? Like I don't know, say we cut like a 3, right? They've thrown face 5, right? That's 12 crib. And say they have a 12-point hand here, and say they peg 3. Let's call that average, right? Then they're at hole 62 by the end of this,
Still out
which
of
is not.
position.
It's well, I mean, well, no, at that point they're in position, right? Like then the
Oh,
next
yes, my
hand gets
bad.
hole
You're right.
70 or so, but they're like in position by like a point
Mhm.
or two. So I'm not worried about that one. It's one of those like just everything has gone wrong and you are still in pretty decent spot. Like I'll live with that. So like I just can't break down from 7 points to 5 or 4 or I guess there's some people that might make a point where you go even lesser with this. I don't know, 8-4 or something, to 8-3. But I can't live with those. So yeah, we're on the same page on this one. So let's jump out to this one. This is another one from Rich. I thought this was a good one because it tests the aggressive Terry theorem, if you will, um, of right. So you've got on this one, you are first count in hole 23. Your opponent is dealing in hole 7. So it's early on, right? You got off to a nice little lead, and it's 4, 4, 5, 7, 7 jack. So this is like the testing the theory of like, how risky are you willing to be? Are you willing to break down from 8 to 4? To play things a little on the soft side. I don't know. What do you think in this spot, Terry?
With that big of a lead, I will absolutely throw 5 face to the crib here. And 4, 4, 7, 7. It's not the best hand to try to cut into, but I don't want to hold 4 points. So I'll just kind of risk it. I'll just chip away. I won't be in position. Like if I blank the cut and only peg 1, that gets me to what, the 32 hole. So but I would just continue with max aggression even after this hand to kind of try to peg or score my way into position. But now, if it was a little bit closer, let's say they were in the 17 hole, I don't know. I may be tempted to break it up at that point and hold 4, 4, 5, 7. But with that lead, I'm just keeping the pedal to the metal and keeping the pat 8 points.
Okay. I agree here. I think breaking down from 8 to 4 is just not something I'm really thrilled about doing. Like I will live with the variance of when you give up a big crib in this spot, but it's amazing the number of times, right? And we would agree, right? Jack 7 is the way that you break this if you're going to break it. Right? When you break a hand, it seems like so often it's like you break it and they still end up with a better crib than if you had done it the other way. Just hold the points here. Don't overthink it, especially with a lead. I think I agree with you. It's funny, like sometimes we'll agree, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
Um, and so I don't know if I necessarily do it because I have the lead here. If anything, right, having a lead like this might be why I might consider like holding back a little bit. Can I sell you on if this is a playoff match and you're playing against somebody who you feel like is a little bit inferior to you? Do you think you'd consider breaking it? Right? Because part of the reason why I would consider 4-4-7-7 in this spot is you've got game breaker cuts, right? The 4 is a game breaker cut for you here. Even an 8 is a very nice cut for you. And this kind of lead early on, right? Skunk is kind of in the back of my mind a little bit. But if there's no appeal to having a skunk, right? If it's a playoff match and you just need the win, I might give it a little thought.
I don't think there is any scenario, honestly.
Anywhere on the board, like just
Oh,
where.
anywhere. Oh, okay.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
well, either. Well, I mean, early on like this, or like, but there are spots on the board where you would break this, just not in this position. You wouldn't, like, no
yeah.
matter
I
what, no
mean,
matter the situation.
if my opponent was like dealing from like the 83 hole and I'm in the 94 hole, I'm not throwing them face
Okay.
5. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thank you for the submissions on those, Rich.
It was a good hand. I liked it.
Yeah, those are good ones. Okay, all right. This is one that I had from Grassroots this week. And we had a weird anomaly at club this week, right? We had 10 players this week, and we had 5 players score. which I thought was kind of an interesting little like thing.
That is interesting.
Yeah, right. It seems like that doesn't. So it's like I was fourth, I think, of the 10. So I was thinking about it come like playoffs, right? I wouldn't have qualified if it were like a playoff tournament. So thought that was
Yeah.
interesting in itself. Okay, so here's one of the ones I had. So you are a dealer, and this is one of these. Can I sell? I did it the way I think it should be done, but it's one of those. It's like, can I sell you on another idea? So you are dealing in hole 82. Your opponent is in hole 81. And the hand is 336799.
I'm keeping the 8 points, 3399 here. It's just one of those weird spots where every point is critical. I feel like if I was in the 85 hole instead of the 82 hole, I would feel like I had options, but I feel like I have to keep the 3399 here. And weirdly, you'll probably disagree with this if you're not already disagreeing. I might actually lead the 9 from it.
Hmm. So the idea being that they play a face card, then you play the 9, and then you get the third
Yeah,
one, the 3.
or or maybe if they have all face cards, you make it. Oh no, you could do that. Make it 22 and then get your second one in, but I'd feel it out a little bit with the 9 lead either way.
Okay. I mean, this is certainly a spot too, where if you're the one in the 81 hole, right, and if you have a decent hand, yeah, you're jumping on a 9 lead. You're pairing it that's a spot where you don't mind giving up a trip necessarily. Like it's one of those where I say that even if your opponent shows you the third one, you probably still take it if you're that one in, first count in hole 81. So I do disagree with you here. This is one of those where I'm again open to be proven wrong, but I think the threes is the throw from this spot. Both are 8 point holds, right? It's 6 and 2 versus 8 and 0. But that 6-7 to my own crib, I'm just not thrilled about, and I just don't like the options of right. I feel like there's so few cuts that help me there with the 3399. Kind of in a no man's land at 82. Like even if I whiff everything on this cut, I still feel like I'm going to be in position. Like the only thing I'm not thrilled about with holding 6799 there is if my opponent leads a middle card and they have all middle cards, I might get beat up a little bit on the pegging. I'm not dying to trade points here, but the 3-3 in the crib and the potential for a 16-point cut, right? Like if we cut an 8 here, which you leave the door open by holding it this way, you've got outs to deal out from 82. Maybe not skunk going in the mind, but like right, it's 16-point hand that puts you're going to be at least at like 102, 103 by first count there, maybe even better depending on what your opponent throws. So just food
Uh,
for thought.
If you hit the 8, then you have to. I think I would be aggressive at that point.
Well,
But
it's not really like, I mean, keep in mind, like you're not leading here, right? So and I guess that's part of what you were talking about with like the 9 lead. We should like scrub that part because you are a dealer here,
oh,
right? So
my bad. Yeah.
you're not leading. I didn't catch it either, so we're fine. But like,
What
but
if they lead the 8 though? That's another reason I
yeah, I mean, I'm not thrilled about it, but then I just play my 6 and I just deal with it from there, right?
that was
Like
my
if
next
they have all
question.
middle cards, I'm in trouble and I'm not happy about it.
Mhm.
But I feel like just the potential that I have to work with from that, plus I think we can agree, right? Threes in the crib are going to score much better than 6-7 in the crib, especially against good players, right? You're not going to get a whole lot of fives there. You're not a lot of players. You just aren't going to get the middle cards. Like if anything, reason why I do it that way is the way I'm fighting for at least here is that I feel like 6-7 in my own crib. I'm just not real thrilled at what the possibilities are there.
Yeah, I'd still keep the Pat 8 either way, but yeah.
Again, but
I
again,
I don't I don't
it's
hate
eight
it.
either
Like,
way.
I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
this is like this is a one pepper disagree. So
well, it's 6 if you hold it your way before the cut.
right, but 2 guaranteed in the crib.
Oh, 2. Oh, overall 8. I gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's 8
Yeah.
either way is
Yeah.
the way I like.
Okay.
And for the record, like so I've heard people say with hands like these, where it's like say they're throwing like a 4 ace to the crib, and they're like, well, it's 2. with the 4 ace. And it's like, no, it's not. It's you're guaranteed to, but it is not to. That's one of those, right? It's like the math doesn't math on that, if that makes sense, because you're having to like use another card for that. So it's like lesser than like a pure pair in this spot. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll jump to the next one here. I think this is another one me. Okay, this is a weird one I had, and it was like I'm curious, like what this is one of these where you get 6 number cards and none of them really feel like they come together. It's not even your crib. So you are first count in hole 53. Your opponent is dealing in hole 47, and you are dealt the lovely hand of ace, ace, 3, 3, 5, 6. So you're already a little out of position. Your opponent's dealing just a smidge over the line. This is one of these. When I picked this one up, I looked at it for a good solid minute. What do you like,
Yeah.
Terry?
I'm trying to make my mind up. My initial thought was toss the aces, keep 3, 3, 5, 6. I don't think I like that after thinking about it. I guess I'm leaning more strongly towards ace 3 here and keeping ace 3, 5, 6. You're only holding 2, but every cut helps. There's a lot of pathways to 6 or 7 points here. Um, I mean, you could throw 6, 3 and keep ace, ace, 3, 5. You would need a deuce there to get 8. There's some other a face card gives you 6, but I think I like ace 3 to the crib here.
Okay. I opted for aces in this spot. Um, Part of the reasoning being that the 4 cut kind of it's the yes no cut, as I call it, right? You hold 3, 3, 5, 6, and you cut the 4 and you go yes, and then you realize you threw 2 aces in the crib. No. But I just think there's genuine paths at big hands here. I'm not very afraid of aces in the crib, particularly since I have 2 of the 3s. But this was one I was not thrilled with any of the possibilities. I think this is one of those where Gary McCuskey and I used to say to each other, if you're going to play D, right? And the point being with that is that if you're going to break a hand in the name of defense, don't, what is it? Breaking Bad, like no more half measures, Walter. I believe is the saying for those who are fans of that show. Right. Like if you're going to break it, and go another route. I think second place for me would be 6-3, right? You've got all the face cards cut you to 6 points, and 6-3 I feel okay about. So if I'm gonna lean defense in this spot, I think that's how I'm gonna do it versus like ace 3, right? You still get pretty banged up with ace 3 in the crib in that one. So but I think even so, I think maybe I'm talking myself into the 6-3 here, even after I'm not going to do it. I think the aces are the way I'm doing this. Aces by nature are kind of a all or nothing throw anyway, right? There's plenty of times where your opponent's just gonna have 2 points in the crib with if you throw them a pair of aces. Or an easy 4 or something like that, right? They throw an 8-7, you throw the aces, and they cut a king or something. So I think that's how I like this one in this spot. But I hear you, and this is one of those. This just sucks, man. Like if we had one of these variances we talk about playing, right? Or once a game you get like a redeal. I think if I got dealt this in this spot, I think I would call for the redeal. It's like my hand is so bad it doesn't even have like a king 9 to throw, right? Like this is a spot where it's like I don't mind just having junk if I have junk to throw along with it, and it's like I don't even have that. So I feel like whenever you play, and you don't play grassroots, but like I do, but like I really like having grassroots every week because I feel like through the 9 games, it's like without fail, you're always going to see a hand that you have not seen before. Like it will happen here or there. All right, so here's the one Terry hand of the week. So take it away.
Yeah, I didn't really. I've played most of my competitive matches for the week. You have to play 10 minimum, but just nothing really thought provoking happened throughout my matches so far. But this was the one somewhat interesting hand I thought. So you are slightly out of position dealing in the 35 hole. Your opponent is in relatively good position in the 41 hole, but it is your crib and you are dealt 3-3, 6 6 9 Jack.
Okay. I think in this spot, the way I like to throw this one is I'm throwing 9 Jack pretty much every time. Right, it's 8 points either way. I think maybe you make it. Maybe there's a case to be made for the threes, but I think I like 3 3 6 6 in my hand. Gives me some big cuts. But like 9 Jack just feels like it's right. There's things to work with there. Um, Options to be had. If it's a queen or a king, I think I'm going to do it the other way. But I think being that it is, I can hold 8 and throw 9 Jack. I think that's the way I like to do it.
I
Sell me
threw
on the
it.
3 3 here, Terry.
I didn't
Sell
even
me
throw
on
it
the
that
3
way.
3.
I threw it differently, just not that way.
What? What?
Yeah.
It's a Jack 3? I
I
guess
threw
would be the only other thing I think you could consider.
Yeah, I threw Jack 3. I'm still holding 8 points. A 6 gives me 18, a 3 gives me 14. And I just feel like, a phase 3, if they throw small cards, you could line up a crib that's worth 4 to 8 points. So it gives me a little bit of variance. I don't most players are not going to play like a 4 on my 3, but I mean there is some scenarios where 3 3 6 6 could get you destroyed pegging.
Right, they
So
lead the 4, and then although I
or
my
yeah, I
point
keep
is
getting
to
it
play it
backwards.
if they lead
Yeah.
the 4, I'm probably just, not loving that, but I just play the 6, and I play the 6 with confidence, is the way I like to say it, right? Play it like I know, play it like I am setting them up. To be honest, I don't even hate, right? If they lead the 4 there and I play the 6, I don't hate it if they have the 5, because then depending on what the cut card is, right? Then I'm trading 5 points for 4 points, which is not ideal, but I've got all kinds of repeater options, and like by the end of this, I could be easily in position. So I will refute your 4 lead example by saying the way I like that. So I don't know. I don't think you can sell me on like Jack 3 here. I think that I I could I'll hear you out on 3 3, but I think yours is a solid third place. I'm gonna fight you on this one.
I would throw my second pick would be 9 Jack.
Okay. I
Yeah.
think that's the route that I like here, but I just the Jack 3 I just can't buy. Again, not trying to kill you or anything. I just feel like that's right. You mentioned like, oh, they throw little cards to the crib or something like that. You know what goes much better with little cards in the crib than Jack 3? 3
What's
3.
that?
3 3 goes really good in the crib if they throw 2 little cards. So anyway, just food
Yeah,
for thought. Okay.
that would be my third choice. 3
All
3, I
right.
mean. Yeah.
Well, I hope so. What's your fourth choice? That's what I want to know. 9 6, I
Uh
guess. Like
6
six
Jack?
six six six.
I
I
don't know.
guess. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to do this the other way, but okay. Right. So what is that? What is it? We
Yeah,
had
we really
we had
narrowed
8
the
hands here.
we're almost even. Yeah, it's is that the last hand?
Yeah, 7. That was 7 hands that we had, and I think we disagreed on like 5 of them. I think we had
Exactly.
maybe just one. Like,
No, we agreed on 2. Um so it's 30 to 28 now.
all right, we're getting close. I feel like we're gonna end up at about like 50-50 on these. Again, like we'll have to screw around with some of those like options with that because, and again, just because we, like doesn't mean my way is right, doesn't mean your way is right. Just means we play the game. Like I think we have a lot of the same theories and how we play this game. Like we talk on this show, so I think it emphasizes a lot of our differences. But I think a lot of the things that we see a lot of the same cards alike and how we kind of go about these positions. Because to me, it's like the position talk is the stuff that really like drives a lot of where I like to go with these things. It's just like that brings me a lot of joy to kind of jump through how we see these different positions, what the mentality is, what I'm looking for. There's a couple players in our grassroots club that I'll kind of coach up a little bit. Like we'll talk hands and things like that. And it's just trying to push certain like mentality things upon them as they start playing. It's like, okay, this is the next step. Like you need to be looking for this even before you pick up the cards in a spot like this. Is one of the things I really enjoy when I'm kind of like coaching people through. Just kind of
Yeah.
curious. You ever had anybody you kind of like mentored? Like I know you said you kind of were the mentor of, I guess, kind of Jerry Hardy and, a little bit of Voldemort and this and that. You ever had anybody you kind of like coached up on how to like play the game? You have like somebody that's like your like, spawn, if you will. Like, it's
Um, Nobody's ever like really emerged as a top player yet, but Steve Podolsky, I work with him quite a bit, and he's really made some strides. Jamie Fincher, I work with a little bit. We haven't really gotten too much into the technical stuff yet because she's just so early in her development. Never even touched a cribbage board till 2021, and so we'll see. But she's been qualifying at a pretty good clip, and I think that's probably about it. James Ravenscroft and I bounced ideas off each other quite a bit, but he's already a top player, I would say.
you don't get to take credit
Yeah.
for James. Yeah,
No,
right.
absolutely not. But he is someone that I enjoy collaborating with. I guess
Yeah,
is the
and
best way to put it.
yeah, and I agree. Like little collabs is the kids
Yeah.
call it, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, like, it's you want to work with people that stimulate, your mind, or perhaps you're stimulating theirs, and you can kind of see everything falling into place, I think.
Yeah,
So
it
one
is.
way or the other.
It's cool because I kind of like coaching, if you will. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not some genius in this game, but like I do enjoy like kind of helping people build their game and like, okay, this is like the way you play. Like one of the things I really try to work is I don't try to like get people off of like who they are as like a person, as a player. Right? You said you kind of did that. You kind of reinvented yourself and you went from Mr. Defense to Mr.
Yeah.
Offense.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
and I don't think there are a lot of people that can do that. Where I think it's like if your inclination is to play very close to the vest defensively, I feel like it's very hard to like get you away from that. And I remember like I was married and she would play. Like I'm not trying to like hide anything with that. Like we split up and unfortunately like she passed away in 2020 after we had like split up. But like I remember like talking to her about like her game, and it was she never ever wanted to like read a cribbage book. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, but you have to understand that like there are limitations to how far you'll go until you willing to do that. But she was so instinctual that, and she could read people, and it was like that's the part of your game you need to like lean into, is just see into people's souls like you do. And she was very very good at that. Tough little player. So all right. Well, next week, Terry, I hope you and the family have a good holiday. Like hopefully this week and next week you'll have a fair amount of people traveling along, and hopefully y'all pop on the cribbage competitive cribbage podcast in your vehicle and have your family members groan about these two guys that are talking about these things. You have no idea what the heck is going on. Would love to hear the stories about those, or if you happen to be a passenger, I guess just pop in those headphones and listen and giggle along as me and Terry snipe at each other the whole way. But I'm just excited. It's like a month till I get to play like tournament cribbage again. I'm like itching. I'm like a fiend. I got like the itch. Fort Walton Beach and Phoenix coming up, and yeah, I'm totally fired up. So all right, well, I guess that's all we got for this week. Again, cribbagepodcast@gmail.com is the best way to reach us with your comments, ideas, fantasy draft ideas. Shoot us all the tricky hand stuff that y'all want to talk about, or anything cribbage related or not. So, well, all right. Well, we will be coming to you next week with a holiday classic coming straight from the Grinch here in Houston. But so until then, everybody peg well. Have a great week.